try to find the sunny side of life.
Hi, I'm Harry Marks, and this is Let's All Go to the Lobby, your introduction to the film you're about to watch. Up next is the epic adaptation of the 1950 novel of the same name about the man who was set to be crucified next to Jesus Christ until he was released by Pontius Pilate. This is Barabbas from Columbia Pictures in 1961. The film and its novel are expansions of a relatively short narrative about Barabbas that had included no indication of his life before or after his arrest and subsequent release. They broaden the lore behind the man into a much fuller picture than what was presented in the Bible. The film boasts an all-star cast, including Anthony Quinn, Jack Palance, and Ernest Borgnine. This would be the first of 3 collaborations between Borgnine and Quinn. Their second was also a religious film, 1977's Jesus of Nazareth, as well as 1981's High Risk. Anthony Quinn faced a bit of ageism in taking on the part of thief and gladiator Barabbas. Many thought he was too old and out of shape for such a role. He was 46. Meanwhile, Jack Palance, who was 42 at the time of filming, was carrying on an affair with one of the extras, a young ingenue named Sharon Tate. This film was her on-screen debut, though she went uncredited. Barabbas was filmed in Italy in 1960 and financed by Dino De Laurentiis, who had produced 1956's War and Peace, as well as 1954's Ulysses, starring Silvana Mangano and Anthony Quinn, both of whom ended up playing opposite each other here in Barabbas. Mangano was actually married to De Laurentiis and was as popular in Italy as Sophia Loren. And thanks to her husband, Barabbas had the largest budget of any Italian movie in history up to that time, and it shows. You can see it in the massive Ben-Hur-like sets and the scene where the city of Rome is set on fire. All the Roman sets that had been built for the film were torched at once. Director Richard Fleischer and his crew had only one night in which to do it, and they only got one take. As for the crucifixion scene, when day became night, the eclipse caught on film was not a work of movie magic. There were no special effects. That was a real eclipse that occurred on February 15th, 1961. Fleischer moved the shooting schedule around to incorporate the phenomenon into the shot. And if that name sounds familiar, that's because Richard Fleischer was the son of animator Max Fleischer, creator of famous cartoon character Betty Boop. Barabbas was released in Italy on December 23, 1961, followed by a US release 10 months later. Though it's viewed favorably today, reviews pegged it as a long, pointless slog with a few great performances. But nowadays it's become an Easter classic, and one that sits right up there with films like Ben-Hur and King of Kings. Starring Anthony Quinn, Silvana Mangano, Jack Palance, and Ernest Borgnine, here's 1961's alternative historical tale, Barabbas.